Morning everyone, my name is Ijlal and my topic is motivation and group work, efficiency of collaboration on the improvement of speaking skills. So let's go to our research. I will start with the introduction. So if we take a non-native country like Sri Lanka, English is spoken as a second language or a foreign language. According to Koperaheva 2009 and Jayatunga 2015, the context of Sri Lanka, English plays a role of a second language. So English is taught from the primary level to the tertiary level in Sri Lanka. According to Jayatunga 2015, majority of the students in the Sri Lankan context, especially the tertiary education system, lack the required command in spoken English. They find out of all the other skills of English, speaking as a difficult task. Scholars in the field have identified the lack of practice in spoken English as the main reason for this situation. So, according to UR 1991, there are four main reasons why students find it is very difficult to speak in English. Those reasons are inhibition, and they have nothing to say, low or uneven participation, and mother tongue usage. It should be focused on avoiding these factors in an ESL or EFL classroom to make sure students practice the language inside the classroom. So, Rakab 2016 suggests group activities as a good strategy to overcome this uh, problem. He states that group activities are categorized as interactive teaching or learning techniques, and two teachers use pair and group work activities as teaching techniques to motivate student-student interactions. So first of all, let's look at what is group work. According to Soraya 2010, a group work is a classroom situation where students are working with smaller units or groups. However, there are some disparities with the number of participants in a group. For instance, according to Wiebe and Masterson in 2003, they say that a small group is often considered to consist of 3 or more people. And also, if we take another research cited in Bumble 2008, Noor Azmi and Kurtnik says groups around 4 to 6 members as small or cluster groups and students more than 7 as large groups. So let's look at the objective of this particular research. The objective of this research was to investigate whether the group work technique has a positive effect on the improvement of motivation and speaking skills of the first years undergraduates of Southeastern Lanka. And these are the research questions. First one is, what are the benefits of group work on the improvement of speaking skills? And the second one is, to what extent do group work activities motivate students to speak? Let's move on to the literature review. According to the Long's 1981 interactionist hypothesis, language is the process of engaging in interaction in order to concentrate on form and process of the input. Hence, the interactional hypothesis plays a major role in learning through conversational interaction and improving language learners' speaking skills. Vygotsky in 1987 stated that uh, the meaningful interaction with others is the base of the new knowledge acquisition. So, learners need to interact with each other to get new knowledge. According to Brown 2000, it was suggested the zone of proximal development where learners construct the new language through socially mediated interaction. And also Sarim and Shizadi 2014 cited that according to the social interaction, interactionist view. At first, the knowledge is improved by social interactions and then becomes an internalized part of the cognitive structure of the learner. And also, affective filter hypothesis plays a key role here. Affective filter hypothesis is connected with the input hypothesis because learners must have motivation at low anxiety level in order to comprehend the input. According to question, as you can see in this image, the input will not reach the language acquisition device or LAD. The learner has no motivation, self-confidence, and anxiety. Therefore, in a second language classroom, the effect of these three factors should be reduced in order to make the learners acquire their target language effectively. Let's move on to the methodology. So this is a classroom action research which has used a mixed method research approach. The participants of the study were 50 first-year undergraduates from the Faculty of Arts and Culture at the Southeastern University of Sri Lanka. They were selected randomly. And also the research tools were classroom observations, interviews, and questionnaires. I have divided the research tools into two parts, qualitative data and quantitative data. Qualitative data were collected using classroom observations and interviews, and quantitative data were collected using questionnaires. And quantitative data were analyzed using SPSS, and qualitative data were analyzed using static analysis. I have divided my findings into two phases. First, let's look at the quantitative phase. Here I have given the most important findings only. 98% of the participants acknowledge group work as the best strategy to improve their speaking skills. So the number is very high, 98%. 75% of the students think that this method can improve their knowledge by sharing experience in group. And also 75% of the students think that this method can motivate them in learning English, and 75% think that this teaching method is the effective method in teaching speaking. And also 80% think that this teaching method can make students active in learning teaching. And also students stated that teachers have to minimize talking time in teaching in order to give the students much time to implement their English. And let's move on to the qualitative phase. There we have identified some themes emerged from the interview data. The interview results suggested that group work can establish a shared identity with other group members, handle more advanced activities, pool knowledge and skills, hold one another accountable, develop their own voice and perspectives in relation to peers, and motivate them to learn English. Very important. And also, classroom observations suggested that students engage more actively in group work than individual activities. Especially, this research was carried out by giving students individual tasks and group work tasks. So, the researcher has compared how they engage in individual activities and how they engage in group activities, and finally came into a conclusion by classroom observations. And let's go to the data analysis. The method, which means group work, has played a positive role in providing practice to the students in the use of language and improving their academic achievement, which means speaking skills. Can be related to the affective filter hypothesis, which states learners must have motivation and low anxiety level in order to comprehend the input, especially when we put students into group. They have motivation to learn and there is a low anxiety. They try to take responsibilities and they try to perform well when they put them into groups. So there's high motivation and low anxiety when we put them in groups. And also the role of proximal development, where learners construct the new knowledge through socially mediated interaction, can be connected to this. Zone of proximal development. What students do is they first learn with the help of a more knowledgeable other, and then they learn it alone. They try to do it alone. So here also, when you put them into groups, there can be more knowledgeable people in groups, so they can get their knowledge and try to do the task uh, again individually. So this is also very important. So in conclusion, this research has been done simply to find the data in order to decide if the method is effective. Method means group work is effective or not in teaching speaking. The findings of the study led to the conclusion that the problem of teaching speaking is solved by adopting and practicing the group work method. Study also suggested that this is an efficient method. So group work is efficient to improve motivation. These are my references, and also thank you everyone for listening.